Yes, my name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and the name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey. I'm married to Childers. That's the name I have to use. The reason for doing this morning, I tried to put or did put up a video yesterday, and because of the things that are being done to me here, I'm afraid I didn't make my point very well. So I want to try again today. In my opinion, when James Comey, the FBI director, released information to the press about Hillary Clinton's emails, uh, had he turned it directly over, whether he told them he chose to or thought it should be prosecuted or not, had he turned it over to Loretta Lynch and the Justice Department, which she's over, it would not have ever seen the light of day. As it was, he told you enough. Any sane person would know that Hillary was crooked and needed prosecuted. He didn't have. He turned it over to you. It was up to you to do the right thing. Instead, she'll probably get elected president. Now I want to go to the other day when he came before the media again and stated that Hillary Clinton may have been in contact email-wise on the computer with Anthony Weiner, that some emails may exist there that contain classified information. Well, the very idea that this aide to Clinton carries so much clout and can get around and do things, it's unbelievable to me that the media and the people who want to vote for it, it's unrealistic to me. The woman should be locked up, and that's probably just the tip of the iceberg on Hillary Clinton and Bill. But this is the other thing I want to say. People that think there is not a conspiracy, they're just hiding their head in the sand. And my point in this is that, just like I said, if Colby had turned it over and he had said prosecute, it would never have been released to you. It would never have been prosecuted, believe me. A case can be investigated by your local police or detectives. It's turned over to that agency that they work for, and their findings is supposed to be whether it's whether it's the DA or state's attorney or your U.S. attorney decides whether to prosecute. And I wonder at this point, this is another avenue that I wonder about. How many cases have gone before courts or district attorneys or your state's attorney or your attorney that has to prosecute it? Prosecute the findings of the agency handing it over, or the law enforcement. And how many exist that have not been prosecuted, not because there wasn't sufficient evidence, but because there were cronies of the district attorney, his office, or the state's attorney, or the U.S. attorney. Now, people can tune me out. I've put up a lot of videos, and I'm on Facebook. And I am going through a lot right now because of who I am. I was kidnapped in 41. I'm going to put it up again. I'm not going to pull out papers and documents and birth certificates of the twins that were marked through by the state of Alabama, so it fit the date they gave me when they brought me over here in 41 in Moulton, Alabama at age 2. They took my name. They have taken everything repeatedly. And if not one of the crimes, there's a list of crimes that's unbelievable. And not one of them has ever been prosecuted. Things done to my son simply because of who they are, their namesake. So to say things aren't, there's not a conspiracy. There's a blackout on me, has been since the day they kidnapped me, because the Kennedys, and remember this, Kennedy was going to appoint his brother Robert as Attorney General. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I know his Robert Kennedy's name is on the outside the building there of the Justice Department. So do you think for one moment the Kennedys clan, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers that control your media, all you have to do is look at NBC, CBS, ABC, and Fox, I'm not sure, is in Rockefeller Center, but it's controlled by them. The media has been for a long time. And I'm going to get off because I've said what I meant to. I can't get an attorney to touch mine, and I'm even told by law enforcement, what a joke. They kidnapped me, and all these crimes have been committed. The media has never told it. You'd think, hey, that's important that you kidnapped the monarch, and that's who I am. Margaret Ann Windsor, the day I was born, Queen Victoria II, heir to the British crown. My father, Edward VIII, never married Wallace Warfield Simpson, the American spy. She married a double, an imposter, and they became the illegal Duke and Duchess of Windsor. And I didn't find out about my birth till in '83 after I'd run in a political campaign, because one of the doctors that I wrote about in an unpublished manuscript, because quite frankly they tried to kill me, April Fool Day of '80. And I found out later in '83 when I ran in a campaign to replace U.S. Congressman Dr. Larry McDonald, who was on the plane in '83, August the 31st, that went down. The KAL was shot down by the Russian MiG. It veered into their airspace. And all aboard went down in the plane. Supposedly, Larry McDonald was on it. That's how history records it. But looking at what you've done to my dad and me, we know how history records things, don't we? So anyway, I was in the campaign, and by the way, Nixon was on the plane, and he was taken off in Juneau, Alaska. It went down en route to Seoul, South Korea, where he was booked to go. So somebody knew the plane was going down. So my point in all this is I ran in that campaign, and this is ongoing. I had a letter from the U.S. Attorney. I thought it was because of the book that I had written, the unpublished manuscript. And it was dated June the 23rd of 1979, and that June 23rd is my father's birthday. And it said, it was from U.S. Attorney Harper there in Atlanta, the district U.S. Attorney, stating the FBI had turned over their evidence and it was ongoing investigation, national security involved. Well, I look back at FBI Comey, him releasing information to the press, which should made any sane person make such an uproar as to why Hillary Clinton's not being prosecuted. She's allowed to go on and run for president, and she's part of this Illuminati I'm talking about, the New World Order. She's a standing member, just like illegal Elizabeth II is, and her dad who helped kidnap me and take down his own brother. So had the FBI turned over to the Justice Department, they already know about me. Hillary Clinton had to know. She was Secretary of State. She has to know about me. So it wouldn't have done any good had the FBI turned it over. You got to have somebody that's going to prosecute it first. Now I want to get back to my father. That was a takedown of my father, illegal. There was an addendum, an attachment to his forced abdication in 1936, and they were minting the coins. My father meant to remain king. He was forced out. He was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe, an American from Madison, Wisconsin, Mr. Ryan. So excuse me if 7 years of my life have gone through in hell, and not one of the crimes, it's a long list you can't believe, have been prosecuted. I've gone on to pay for the crimes that this country did to me. They've kept me homeless and penniless and taken my name. I don't know if my children are alive or dead. They're heirs after me. So I've simply gone on social media because I can't get an attorney. You have to, this is the point in this video here. I've made all the others. Videos trying to get help in what's been done to me, because I've got to get somebody to prosecute it first. And the War Tribunal is controlled by the very people that have kidnapped me, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Henry Kissinger of the Watergate. So, fat chance I stand, but that's what would have to happen. And the point is, unless you can get all the evidence in the world and turn it over to the prosecuting attorney or agency, and if they choose not to do anything, just to let it lie, they can do it and get away with it. So, I've said that, and someone told me I was skipping around on the video that I did yesterday, and excuse me, baby, you should walk in my shoes just one moment and see how you skip around, and if you don't make your point quite well. If you were in my shoes, you probably wouldn't be alive, dear.